Shalom, Yasharallah. Before I get started, I'd like to give all praises to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakar Kradash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. What I would like to do, through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, in this particular lesson, in Yahweh Ratazah, I'm able to make this and turn this into a series and start to delve into the 12 tribes. And in this particular video, I want to start with the tribe of Issachar. And I hope through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, that this lesson is edifying. In the tribe of Issachar, Yashakar in the Hebrew, Yash meaning he, Shah meaning is, Kar meaning hired, are the modern day so-called Mexicans. If you're looking at the photo that I have queued up for you, even when you look at Carnello, who's an Issacharite, all right, look at the garment that he has on, the attire that he has on, the garment that he has on down to the foot with fringes on the bottom. And why does he do these things? Because it's in his spirit to be this way, all right? The Issacharite are the modern day so-called Mexicans, okay? But how do we know to be sure? I'll start in Genesis, the 49th chapter, and I'll read the first and the second verse, and I'll jump down to verse 14. It also goes to show you that our forefather, Jacob, was a prophet too as well, all right? His name was later changed to Israel because he told his sons what would befall them and where they would be in these last days. And we're in the last days now. I'll start at Genesis 49, and I read verse 1 and 2 and jump straightly or directly to verse 14. It reads this: And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which may befall you in the last days. And again, we're in the last days now. Verse 2: Gather yourselves together, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto your father Israel. Now, I got a few things queued up for you and certain points that I want to make, as we segue, through this particular lesson to further substantiate that the modern day so-called Mexicans are and or is the tribe of Issachar. All right. Now, let's go directly to Genesis, the 49th chapter and the 14th verse, and it tells us this: Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens. Now, let me grab this precept here, right? In Genesis, the 30th chapter and the 18th verse. And Leah said, The Most High hath given me my hire. Because remember, Issachar mean what? He is hired. Because I have given my maiden to my husband, and she called his name Issachar, right? Now, let's go back to Genesis, the 14th chapter, and continue on. Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens. Now, what does the scriptures mean by is crouching down between two burdens? I mean, I'm sure we're all aware of this, but, Mexico is between what? USA and South America, all right? And also, in case you're unawares, this is located in Mexico as well, further substantiating that these are Israelites. I'm sure you might be privy to this, but some people might be new and may not be aware of the Los Lunas Decalogue stone, all right? Now, it tells us this. What is the Los Lunas Decalogue stone? The Los Lunas Decalogue stone, also known as the stone or mystery stone, is a large boulder near Los Lunas, Mexico, bearing an inscription believed to be an abbreviated version of the Ten Commandments in Paleo Hebrew. All right, continuing on, it reads, It's a controversial site, with some claiming it's evidence of pre-Columbian contact between the ancient Hebrews and Native Americans, while other believes it's a hoax. Well, it's not a hoax. Of course, they're going to put that in there to somewhat, add doubt, pardon me, and or shade. Now, remember, Issachar names mean what? He is hired. Now, in case you're unawares, they're still the most hired to this day. And why is that? Because the Lord put the spirit in them to be that way. Now, it reads this in the AI overview, and I got an article that I want to bring out from the World Economic Forum to further substantiate the case. And it reads, yes, it's accurate that Hispanics are the fastest growing work group in the United States. They account for about 2/3 of the net increase in the labor force, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Specifically, from 2003 to 2023, their labor force numbers grew by 69%, which is over 10 times the growth rate of non-Hispanic workers, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, right? Now, let me come from here, okay? Now, this is from the World Economic Forum, all right? Because even the elites They know who Issachar is. Now, what does it tell us here? This is where people work the longest hours. And through the Spirit, you already know what the answer is going to be. And it tells us this: if we compare work hours by country, Mexicans work far longer days than anyone else. I'm going to read that again. Mexican work far longer days than anyone else. Again, the Lord got the Spirit on them to be that way, to work far longer, to work far much harder than any other of the other tribes on the earth. That's just in their spirit. All right. Germans, on the other hand, clock up the least hours. Now, with that being said, let's go back to Genesis, and it reads this. Genesis 49:14. Issachar is a strong ass, crouching down between two burdens. We just went over that. Verse 15. And he saw that rest was good. Now, what does the scriptures mean by he saw that rest was good? Because Mexicans and the tribe of Issachar, after they work a certain amount of time and the hours, they'll just rest. I'm sure we all seen, Issacharites on the side of the road doing construction underneath the tree. They just take a break. They just set up shop, and it's called a siesta, right? Now, what a siesta means is it directly means what? A nap or midday rest. It refers to a short sleep taken in the early afternoon, often after the midday meal. It is a common tradition in some countries, particularly those in warm climates. And as we can see here, I'm sure, all of us have seen Issachar, relaxing on the side of the road, taking that break, even when it's 110, 115 degrees outside. Issachar just in their spirit to be that way. But let's continue on. And he saw that rest was good. He'd take a siesta midday, regardless of the temperature. And the land was pleasant. What does the scriptures mean by the land is pleasant? Because Mexico, even this day, is still beautiful. And that's where a lot of our fruits and vegetables come from, your avocados and so forth. Continuing on. And bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant to tribute. Now, what does the scriptures mean by he bowed his shoulder to bear and became a servant to tribute? The scriptures referring to is those Spanish conquest, those Spanish conquistadors, all right, when Mexico was conquered. And you can look more into this in your own time, because this is more of an overview, but you have to look things up and search these things out, because we all should be likened unto modern day Bereans, okay? You want to look into Hernan Cortez, all right, and what happened during that time period. All right. And also you can look into the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire. Okay. All right. And let me go back to that verse there, and I'll read it straight through one more time. And it tells us this. Now that we know what Issachar means, Issachar is a strong ass crouching down between two burdens, Northern and Southern America. All right. And he saw that rest was good, meaning what? A siesta. And the land was pleasant. All of the fruits and vegetables and so forth, the majority of that comes from Mexico, all right? And bowed his shoulder to bear and became a servant unto tribute. We just talked about how Mexico was conquered by the Spanish conquistadors, so on and so forth. You have to delve into that history. But this was meant to be a quick overview, because we can't go over these things enough. And I hope through the Spirit and the power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, that this quick lesson has been edifying. Shalom.